Welcome back. If you're new, you can have me scuttling around inside your skull by subscribing. Click the bell notification and you won't miss anything. Creepy speeches from horror films. I'll start off with a campfire story taken from the original old film, The Fog. At the beginning of this film, an old man is sharing this story to some children around a campfire. 11:55, almost midnight. Enough time for one more story. One more story before 12, just to keep us warm. In 5 minutes it will be the 21st of April. 100 years ago on the 21st of April, out in the waters around Spivey Point, a small clipper ship drew toward land. Suddenly, out of the night, the fog rolled in. For a moment they could see nothing, not a foot in front of them. Then they saw a light. By God, it was a fire burning on the shore, strong enough to penetrate the swirling mist. They steered a course toward the light, but it was a campfire, just like this one. The ship crashed against the rocks, the hull sheared in two, masts snapped like a twig. The wreckage sank, with all the men aboard. At the bottom of the sea lay the Elizabeth Dane, with her crew, their lungs filled with salt water, their eyes open, staring to the darkness. And above, as suddenly as it come, the fog lifted, receded back across the ocean and never came again. But it is told by the fishermen and their fathers and grandfathers that when the fog returns to Antonio Bay, the men at the bottom of the sea out in the water by Spivey Point will rise up and search for the campfire that led them to their dark, icy death. It's now 12 midnight, the 21st of April. My favourite of all the Saw films is the very first one. If you haven't seen it, I recommend you do. This is what the character Jigsaw says to someone he has captured. "Hello Amanda, you don't know me, but I know you. I want to play a game. Here's what happens if you lose. The device you're wearing is hooked into your upper and lower jaws. When the timer at the back goes off, your mouth will be permanently ripped open. Think of it like a reverse bear trap. There is only one key to open the device and it's in the stomach of your dead cellmate. Look around, Amanda. Know that I'm not lying. You better hurry up, live or die, make your choice." I'm intrigued by the character Hannibal Lecter. You got the TV series and the films. This is what Hannibal says during a conversation with Agent Starling in the film The Silence of the Lambs. Hannibal is in his prison cell. "You're so ambitious, aren't you? Do you know what you look like with that good bag and those cheap shoes? You look like a rube. A well-scrubbed, hustling rube with a little taste. An uneducated country girl. Good nutrition's given you length of bone, but you're not more than one generation of poor white trash, are you? And that accent you've tried so desperately to shed. Pure West Virginia. Was it your father, dear? Is he a coal miner? Does he stink of the lamp? How quickly the boys found you. All those tedious, sticky fumblings in the back seats of cars while you could only dream of getting out, getting anywhere." The film The Shining is a classic slow-burn horror experience. Although it's very old, it is still powerful even today. This is the bit where the character Jack Torrence intimidates his wife Wendy. "What are you doing down here?" "Oh, maybe you want to talk about Danny. Maybe it was about him. I think we should discuss Danny. I think we should discuss what should be done with him." "What should be done with him?" "What, you don't know?" "I don't think that's true. I think you have some very definite ideas about what should be done with Danny, and I'd like to know what they are." "You think maybe he should be taken to a doctor?" "When do you think maybe he should be taken to a doctor?" "As soon as possible. Or you believe his health might be at stake and you're concerned about him, right? And are you concerned about me? Oh, of course you are. Have you ever thought about my responsibilities? Have you ever had a single moment's thought about my responsibilities? Have you ever thought for a single moment about my responsibilities to my employers? Has it ever occurred to you that I have agreed to look after the hotel until May the 1st? Does it matter to you at all that the owners have placed their complete confidence in me and that I have signed a letter of agreement, a contract, in which I've accepted that responsibility? Do you have the slightest idea what a moral and ethical principle is, do you? Has it ever occurred to you what would happen to my future if I fail to live up to my responsibilities? Has it ever occurred to you? Has it? Oh, you're very confused, aren't you? And you want to think things over. Wendy, you've had your whole life to think things over. What good's a few minutes more going to do you now? I'm not going to hurt you, darling. Light of my life. I'm not going to hurt you, don't worry. I'm not going to hurt you. I'm just going to bash your brains in. I'm going to bash them right in. Another horror film favourite of mine is the underrated The Exorcist 3. The film's dialogue heavy, but it's the imagery and the acting and the sound effects that elevates it above many other films. This bit's from the Gemini Killer. I like plays, the good ones, Shakespeare. I like Titus Andronicus the best, it's sweet. Incidentally, did you know that you are talking to an artist? I sometimes do special things to my victims, things that are creative. Of course it takes knowledge, pride in your work. For example, a decapitated head can continue to see for approximately 20 seconds. So when I have one that's gawking, I always hold it up so that it can see its body. It's a little extra I throw in for no added charge. I must admit it makes me chuckle every time. Life is fun. It's a wonderful life, in fact, for some. If you enjoy listening to my voice, watch another video right now. And remember to subscribe. Leave me a comment. I'd love to know your thoughts. And one of you listening right now is going to have me knock on your window in 4, 3, 2,